welcome to TalkFCB and welcome back here to the channel, guys. I hope that you're all doing well, I hope that you're all staying safe, and most importantly, I hope that you're all staying entertained as best as you possibly can. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about player sales. And this, for me, is a very, very important topic. Again, this summer, for me, it's going to be very, very key for Barcelona that we make the right sales, and in particular, who is going to leave, and do we agree with that? There's 8 names coming up in today's video. Now let me explain why. Because this morning, Sport came out with a big headline. They basically said there that Barcelona this summer are going to be forced into selling players in order to rejuvenate the squad in the way that they want. Sport basically said there that 8 of the players they're going to mention need to go in order to make the signings that Barcelona feel are necessary. And it's going to be interesting to see, because I really want to know your opinion on each of these players. Because look, they may be true, they may be false, Sport might be on the money, they might be way off with this report, but still, these players certainly are up for debate. And that's where you come in, because I need to know what you think. The first player named by Sport this morning was none other than Antoine Griezmann, a player, of course, that we have mentioned very recently. And just like we said before, I do believe it is a possibility that we see Griezmann exit the Camp Nou this summer, just 1 season after signing there for 120 million euros from Atletico Madrid. Now, according to recent reports, Barcelona there would be looking to recoup around 100 million of the 120 that we spent last summer on Griezmann. Whether or not that's attainable in the current market, I don't know, but what we do know is Griezmann's future at the club, it is in question, it is in doubt. In no way is it guaranteed that he's going to leave, but at the same time, you couldn't say that he's guaranteed to stay. Then there's Philippe Coutinho, another player, of course, whose situation we are very much aware of ahead of the summer transfer window. And along with Antoine Griezmann, you would say there that Coutinho is one of those high-profile names and one of those players that we have currently within our club that can be used to generate some serious money this summer. He's pretty much guaranteed there to return from his loan spell at Bayern Munich. They don't really want to purchase him. And when he does return, everything right now, it still points to him leaving. Although the club could maybe take a U-turn on that. Maybe Quique Setien could demand that Coutinho stays within the squad. But right now, it looks like he's on his way out, providing that we receive the right offer, which most likely right now has to come from the Premier League. Coutinho, he's one of those inching closer to the exit door. Then there's Ivan Rakitic, who Sport mentioned as the third name, and I think we'll all accept that it's extremely likely this summer that Rakitic will depart the club, because of course he's been on the verge of leaving for the past 2 transfer windows. It's been a case of, will he go? Will he accept to leave? Barcelona have been trying to force him out in the most polite way possible, and despite Rakitic throughout being very intent on staying at the club, I think even he feels as though this summer it might be the right time to go. It might be the right time there to say, you know what, I'm going to go to another club, I can play week in, week out. I've got several years left now of my career. Let's make the most of it. And I think especially with Sevilla reportedly interested, that could be a really interesting option there for Ivan Rakitic. It's a city that he absolutely loves. He loved playing for Sevilla. And I think providing there they can make him the right offer in terms of wages, that's going to be a potential stumbling block. But I think whatever happens, Rakitic this summer, very likely to leave the club. Another midfielder who is also likely to depart, according to Sport, would be Arturo Vidal, who, much like Rakitic, has been linked with an exit now for the past 2 transfer windows. And also like Rakitic, maybe Vidal here would feel as though this summer was the best time to leave, and the club also may feel the same way. Vidal is set to turn 33 in May. He's also one of the high earners on the wage bill. And I think alongside that, Arturo Vidal, deep down, he wants more game time. Ever since he signed for Barcelona from Bayern Munich, he's always said, I want to play more. Under Valverde, I think under Setien, he's got a few more minutes, but I still believe he would rather play week in, week out and be a regular fixture in that team. And for that reason, I think this summer we could also see Vidal leave. The 5th name mentioned by Sport is none other than Samuel Umtiti again, who's been mentioned in the media several times over the past few weeks. With his future at the club, it's certainly right now in the balance, much like Griezmann, in the way that you could never guarantee that Umtiti is going to be here next season. And I think, to be honest, it's a combination of the injury problems that he's had. There's certainly question marks over how many games he can play in a row, whether or not he's going to stay injury-free for an entire season. But it's also there the fact that Umtiti, if a club really does want him, him, he could still demand a pretty decent fee. But again, they are going to be looking into his medical history, they're going to be looking there into his physical state. Are we going to be able to sell Umtiti for big money? I'm really not sure. And I think in general, you look at Umtiti, the player, when he is fit, the quality that he can bring, we all do want him to be a success here. But is this summer, is it going to be his last at Barcelona? That would certainly, for me, cause some debate. But the question marks do loom over Umtiti, and to be honest, our defence in general. And as we do now move on to the final 3 players mentioned by Sport, there are several more big question marks, because these 3 in particular, they're really surprising. And certainly I feel you guys are going to have some strong opinions on the names that I'm going to mention for a number of different reasons. Let's start here, first up, with Carlos ALENÁ, because he there is one of the 8 players mentioned who could be heading for the exit door this summer, which for me, it is a strange one for a number of reasons. Number one, Sport themselves just a few days ago said that Setien really wanted ALENÁ in his plans. He was counting on him, he could see a place for him in his team, so I do believe that is strange coming from Sport, that suddenly now he might be on the transfer list. I do believe personally that ALENÁ does have a place within this squad. I do think under Setien he's even more suited to this Barcelona team, and to be perfectly honest, I'd be gutted if we saw him leave, because ALENÁ for me is somebody 22 years old, he's still got so much potential, he still deserves an opportunity in this team, and I think to be honest, he was unfairly forced out. There was no reason why he shouldn't have been playing under Valverde, and especially seeing his progress at Real Betis, he's impressed there, he's really looked good in La Liga. We all know his talent. We want to see him in a Barcelona shirt. It's time that our youth players got some serious chances. And it actually gets even stranger for me, because the next man mentioned is none other than Neto, our backup goalkeeper who was signed last summer for a fee of 26 million euros plus 9 million in add-ons from Valencia, which saw Jasper Cillessen there, of course, in that particular deal, move the other way for a very similar fee. And if we really are here talking about cashing in on Neto this summer, it once again highlights the incredibly bad planning from the current board. Because you think about it, last summer we could have taken the 30 million euros for Jasper Cillessen from Valencia or any other club and banked that profit. You could have said there, that's a fantastic transfer fee, we're happy with that, and then you could have promoted Iñaki Peña for absolutely nothing, or even brought in an older, more experienced goalkeeper for a much less transfer fee than we paid for Neto. But suddenly now, we paid nearly 30 million euros for Neto, he's come in, he's made 4 appearances, which means that if we sold him right now, we will have paid 6.5 million per appearance this season, and that doesn't even include his wages. And look, I'm not saying anything here about Neto. I think he's a great goalkeeper. I think in those 4 appearances that we've seen him in a Barcelona shirt, we can see he has quality. But I'm just not really sure of the thinking from the board to bring him in the first place. We all knew that he wouldn't get much game time. We all knew there that he wouldn't be playing very often. And suddenly now we're thinking, yeah, maybe we should sell him. Well, why did we spend all of that money in the first place if just a few months down the line we were thinking of moving him on? And again, it just highlights that poor short-term planning that we see from Bartomeu's leadership time and time again. And just to highlight that fact there even further, the final man on our potential sales list is Martin Braithwaite. I mean, you honestly couldn't make this up. And like I say, this list may or may not be true, but I think you could see reason behind everyone. And you could see there the board getting rid of Neto. You could see the board getting rid of Martin Braithwaite, our emergency signing that was brought in just over 1 month ago for 18 million euros. And admittedly, we didn't expect this break from football, but the club can't tell me that, oh, you know what, we were actually planning on keeping Braithwaite, but we still only had 10 games. We had 10 games or so to go that Braithwaite was going to be involved in, and then you're telling me that they plan to sell him in the summer. That, for me, is ridiculous, especially when you've seen already the impact, the hunger, the will from Braithwaite to play at this club. Because let me tell you this, you cannot have a squad full of superstars. I'm not saying here that we should keep Braithwaite and play him every single minute, every single week in the starting 11, but you need players like him in your squad. You need players there who actually care, who will come on the field and they will leave everything out there. there. He said just recently, he was asked basically about his favourite goal in his entire career. Do you know what he said? He said, my favourite goal will be the goal that I score with Barcelona. This man deserves to stay. You need players like this in and around your squad as the third forward, as the fourth forward, somebody there who can come off the bench and have an impact. We shouldn't be looking at selling him. We've only just signed him. How can this happen? What is this planning? And it genuinely does, guys, really frustrate me, because you look at those 8 names there and some of them you can say, you know what, we could do with raising some transfer funds by selling them on. But then some of those names you look at and you think, how can you make that choice? How can the board sit there and think, yeah, that's a good idea? Or to bring them in the first place, that was a good idea. You have got to look there at their planning, and it doesn't exist. Their long-term planning, their long-term aim, their philosophy, it does not exist. We see this time and time again, and believe me, this break from football, we are counting down the minutes, counting down the seconds until we see an end to this Barcelona board, because believe me, then it'll be party time. So please leave your thoughts in the comments down below, guys. Out of these 8 names that are mentioned in today's video, which of those do you believe that we should be selling on this summer? And also, which of these do you want to see stay at the club? Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments down below. I really am interested in what you guys have got to say. I will see you soon, of course. Plenty more to come. You can count on that. But until next time, as always, Visca! El Barça.